Hello. Let me just adjust this. As happens every single time I turn the camera on. This is pointing in the wrong place. Okay, there we go. Welcome. I saw there was a chat message from ZatoS Grax. Hey, how's it going? I am going to spend another night this week working on Gitstore. So if you don't know what that is, I will give you the briefest of introductions. Since I haven't... Oh, not GitHub. Oh, not Gitstore 2! All the URLs. Okay, so I work on this thing called Gitstore, which is a way to sell code that doesn't suck. And this music is intense. Hold on, I'm just going to pick a different album. I think this music is a bit intense. But let's go a few tracks into this one. Cool. So Gitstore is a way to sell code that doesn't suck, but it's a very small startup thing that I've been working on for a couple of years with a couple mates, and we are trying a new direction for V2, which focuses a lot more on the UI for the seller. So that's what this is. If you want a bigger intro than that, then check out the VODs for yesterday or the day before. Like I mentioned yesterday, I am streaming with Windows open, so you might hear noises of kids or cars or whatever. I hope that's not too much of a distraction. Okay, so let's get the to-do list up. I like to start with that. There we go, and it is February the 6th, 2020. It's not really that important, but anyway. Okay, and we start off with our bug list. Now, yesterday I discovered that the GitHub and Bitbucket flow in OAuth is not working, and I think I figured out why that is, because I think I set the URLs up to work from this live URL. So if I go in here and I connect with GitHub, then it should actually redirect me back, which is good. But then I noticed the sync button also isn't working, so there's something up with that. So I think this URL is working for OAuth, except it's only pointing to the dev domain. It's not pointing to my local domain. So I don't know if I am going to be able to resolve this. I might put a temporary workaround in place just so that I can get on with the dev. But that was kind of the only thing in this bug list. Which means, if I'm not mistaken, that we can start working on new features. Like these features here, and then when I'm done with that, I'll go up to this stuff over here. So let me just check if it's possible to have multiple URLs on this, and I'll start with Bitbucket. I remember when I was setting up the hosting environment for this on Forge that I changed these URLs. So it's entirely possible that that's why, that it only allows a single URL there. But I can, I'm going to have to 2FA into Bitbucket and GitHub. I think it might be possible to have multiple redirect URLs for this. Hello, that did not work. That and that. Okay. Oh, weird. I must have checked remember this machine. Remember this machine. So, where would these things be again? Develop apps? No, it's probably not that. OAuth. It's probably that. Oh, and I clicked it twice. Okay, so Gitstore elevated, Gitstore restricted. These are over here, and then can I edit these? No, it's only one URL. Optional URL where they can learn more about your app. No, it's only one URL. Okay, I'm not actually going to change that now then, because I have to change it in 4 places and then change it back when I do my hosting. Oh, it's worth it though, isn't it? It is worth it. because then I can develop these things properly. Okay, fine. You've convinced me by saying nothing at all that I need to change this. So I will quickly. So Gitstore elevated, Gitstore restricted, and then in GitHub, let me change it there as well. So this will be developer settings, I think. Oh, with apps. Restricted. It's that, and oh, did I select the right thing? This other monitor has really low contrast. I'm going to do something about that because it's really difficult to see. So I did it for restricted. I need to do it for elevated. I talked about why I have 2 different keys per service that I auth with, and oh, by the way, Zados Grax, thank you for following. I didn't notice you followed as well. That's pretty cool, man. Thanks. I talked a bit yesterday about why I have restricted and elevated apps for GitHub and Bitbucket. And basically it comes down to I don't want to ask for all the permissions that a seller needs in order to auth, just to auth. So if you want to log in and not like give away any info, then you can log in and it'll ask you just for your email address to create your account. But if you want to start selling, then it'll ask you for the permissions that it needs to do things like webhooks and private repo access and those kinds of things. I haven't tried Inertia.js, but I do need to, because in like a month and a half I need to I'm supposed to be giving a talk about the dev experience with Inertia and Livewire. So within the next 6 weeks I'm going to try Inertia, probably on stream. I hear really good things about it. I hear that it works really well with Adonis and Masonite. So, or maybe not Adonis, but I know it works well with Masonite because that's been spoken a lot about. But yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a go because I've heard really good things about it. I've just kind of had to, like, I don't get to do PHP in my day job most of the time, so I have sort of limited time to experiment and to learn new tech if it's just PHP related. So I've kind of picked Livewire as the thing to really dive deep into, and then and I've just been happy with it so far. So I haven't really jumped outside of that box yet, but I will. I need to, because obviously the talk. Okay, there are a few things that I need to start up here for this version 2 dev. The first is npm run watch, which uses Laravel mix. Gitstore 2. The second is artisan serve, because I'm just running this on a local server. And then I will get back to that folder so I can do my Git stuff from this without cancelling those 2 watches. So now I should be able to change this to 127 or 8000. And now also, when I go to this page and connect to GitHub, there we go. It's connected these things. So actually, this crosses something off the list because I ended up figuring out what the fix was for this. I just have to remember to change it back or create a separate duplicate set of apps in GitHub and Bitbucket for these things. But I think for now, I'm happy just changing the URL because I'm not going to really be fiddling with this OAuth stuff that much once I've got a dev to satisfaction. So that's actually off the list. I need to send the current plan, so I'm moving this onto this list. I need to send the current plan. So how this works is that I have all of these things. Let me flush the session quick. All of these things are have their own set of default plans that you could see. So if I go to share code, there's free and add another option. If I go to sell your app, there's just the code with setup, add another option. So all of these have potential default options that you can use, which is cool. But that reminds me, I just wanted to check, how is this chat thing working? Is this actually working? I can't. This is so small. How do I zoom this in? That's super weird. Okay, I just want to open up on Twitch quickly because I want to. Yeah, that's fine. Twitch. I just want to make sure that this chat thing isn't going behind the cam. Hey, welcome, Steve Bowman. I just want to make sure that this chat thing isn't going behind the cam. Oh, awesome. no, that's working well. Well, thanks for stopping by, and for your kind words. That's really nice of you. Okay, so all of these types of things that you can sell, or ways that you can sell, have suggested default plans that you can edit. And this was some work that I did before, where you could upload an image, or you could connect to GitHub or Bitbucket and select repos from them. And the previous approach that I did, that I wanted to follow, was that you first upload everything or select everything, and then you go and pick what goes into a plan. But this new UI that Sean has suggested, which I actually prefer, you set the plans and then you upload or select things in each plan at the same time. So initially, these are going to be a fixed number of things that you can do here, but you'll be able to turn off ones you don't want to use. And you'll be able to customize their name and their cost and their currency and those kinds of things. But the idea is, get some idea of what you want to use this for, pick a plan, upload stuff according to it. So what really a fundamental thing that changes from the previous approach to this one is that now we have the context of what plan you are currently editing, presumably just these two. And based on what plan you are currently editing, the things that you upload and select need to be remembered according to that. I'll tell you what I will do before I get to that, though, is that this add another option is supposed to show textual content and hide this junk. So I want to do that first. Upsell option shows markup. And I'll just put upset. Upsell. I'll just put dummy content in there so long. It's going to be like a form that says, hey, we're still busy building this thing. You'll be able to make a completely custom set of plans wherever you want, but it's not ready yet. So please tell us if you're interested in this, and we can, if you put your name down for this, then we can judge by how many people want the features that are still in the backlog. We can prioritize which one to work on first. That's the idea with that. And a further idea is that we need some way to monetize this whole thing, because we're building V2 so that you can use it mostly for free, but very on rails. And if you want to do super customization, like a custom domain, or a way to put your own markup and CSS in, or a way to completely mess with every setting in the plans, or generate invoices, like there are all these features that we want to build that are going to take a little bit more work. The majority of people might not want, and so those are going to be behind like a pro version paywall, is the idea there. Okay, but that means that these add another options, that stuff is not built yet, and we need to be able to put in substitute information, not show this UI there. That's the goal. So when someone is selected on not another option, I think the way that I've defined that in the default workflow is that it has an upsell variable. Okay, there we go. Let me move this down to the bottom because that more closely fits with how the rest of the stuff is structured. Okay, so upsell true. If upsell's true, I want to show custom markup in here, and I'll hard code it for now because that page isn't going to change all that often until the feature's built. I'm doing good, Modestus. Thanks for joining. How are you doing? So, if upsell is true, okay. So where's our markup now? This will be in customized plans. Oh, cool. Good to hear, buddy. So if current plan and plan is upsell, else show this stuff. So I think this is the markup that I want. I'll just do that for now. Give us a minute. Ooh, undefined index is upsell. That's not actually the worst. Oh, it's good to hear. It's good to hear you're doing well. Well, thanks for joining. So maybe I want to do, this is so annoying, but I'll have to do isSet and then this. It's a bit annoying. It's not the worst though. Okay, cool. So the upsell thing, or the under construction thing, is a little bit sorted. I want to increase the margin on this thing, or the padding on this thing actually. So in this, I have like a padding element in here. I'll just use the same logic down here, except that it's not padding right, it's padding left. All of these classes that I'm using are from Tailwind, which just got a 1.2 version, which I'm keen to check out. This is the... I think I'm using the... Oh, what version am I using here? Tailwind 1.0. Okay, so I think it's no breaking changes in 1.2, so I can probably upgrade fairly easily. Oh, I can't use that padding there actually. If I look at the design, check this design out that Sean's done. Not that. Campfire, oh no. I'm like leaking all this info. Where is this thing? Sean, I hope I haven't given away all of the things, all of the secrets. Okay, so if we look down here, there is padding here, which I will use again. Oh, don't do that. No, what have I done? There is padding here. Let me expand one of these. There is padding here, but this bottom element, this blue background color or indigo background color, actually goes all the way to the edge. So I can't really use that. I'm probably going to have to use like a... I'm probably going to have to use something like this that sets a lighter color. And put this in here. Oh, I'm butchering the indentation here. I'll fix it shortly. Please don't twitch too much. Unless it's to watch me, then you can twitch all you like. Okay, so this will be BG in indigo. Let's try 500. It's just got to be one shade lighter than what that background is. Okay, so I mean that works sort of. Works sort of. I might have to do like a. I might have to do like what is the thing that's supposed to show there? It's like a heading, right? Add stuff. I'm just going to say add stuff for now, not add free stuff, which is this styling, except that it is oh, I see what's up here. I see what's up here. Okay. Ugh. Okay, I'm not going to set a background color on this, but I will do flex, shrink. And here I'll do flex, grow. I can probably just do flex, grow or flex, shrink, but I like to be explicit about them. Let me close this because that's getting in the way. Okay, this also needs some padding. Okay, so that's got padding. I don't really know what the default content is. Okay, I mean it is some stuff. I'll repeat this styling once I figure out the best way to do this. Let me go to Tailwind quickly, because I think there's something in Justify that I want to use to make these expand all the way. So item stretch. No. Item stretch is what I want. I need to just fiddle around with Flexbox a little bit. Just to get the and I think I can actually take this out for just a second. I don't think that's what I want. No, that is definitely not what I want. Flex call, item stretch, H screen, because I want this element to expand all the way to the bottom. Oh, but that's what that's done. It's a bit gross, that's not what I wanted. If I do this, my scroll bar goes away, but this stuff... Unless I have to do like some kind of chained flex grow inside here. But that doesn't seem reasonable to me. What have we got in the way of height? I have email. Steve Berman, thank you for following. I don't know if you're still here, but if you are, thanks very much, buddy. That's really cool. H full. I don't like that so much, but anyway. Width full, H full. And then in here, probably width full, H. You see, this part kind of sucks because. Hello? I do think I need to use screen for this column. If I do BG pink 500, is pink a color in Tailwind? Yes, it is. Okay, but then why? See, this is kind of confusing to me. Flex col, MD flex row. And then this says flex col. So that, no, this is fine. This is fine. But maybe here I need to do H screen. Oh, super weird, actually. That's super weird because this is nested in a few things. If I look at layout, H screen leading normal, and then wizard does another H screen. It does like this background color stuff, which is, you know, I'm not going to be able to use that. Am I? Okay, let me think about that background color at a different time. I don't really have to deal with that right now. However, when it gets to this right-hand column, I've got margin top 8, margin bottom 32. And this is the container in which this content is. That doesn't make sense. If I look at customize plans, this is width full. Oh, actually it does make sense. It does make sense that everything inside here acts as though it takes the full width. So none of these things should contain a container, but they can have margin top on them. Oh, that's just the button. Yeah, this is just the button component anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So I think this markup makes sense, except the margin top, margin bottom. That might be a bit problematic. What if I delete that stuff? Okay, so now I think this is the way I want to go for now, and then maybe add margin in to each panel that needs to manage its height. Maybe that's the way I want to do that. Pink, BG pink, H screen. So there we have like some. That's because the whole column's expanding, and these buttons and debug are on the outside of it. So that's not good. That's super not good, actually. So I can't really do H screen on this, can I? What I can do is I can do item stretch on this. That's what I can do. I don't know if that's the right sort of paradigm for this. Oh, you know what else is weird is that this container actually just sits. So how I've done this, by the way, how I've done this is that I have a container element that contains these things, but then above that in the markup I have two columns that go half the width of the page and stretch all the way down, and they're position fixed, so that these background colors kind of live like that, right? Unfortunately, it introduces a problem if I want to do a background color on this area and have it stretched all the way out there, unless I do some really gross hacky stuff like this as well. Oh, this is the worst. This is absolutely the worst, because now I'll have to do something like this. Fixed. Inset 0 makes it full width and height. So like, maybe if I take this and I put it over here, I can get rid of this. Actually, let me just take this whole thing out. Make this relative. And then make this, forget height screen. Do some style on here. So width 300%. Just to kind of, yeah, okay. Relative fixed inset 0. So you see, amazing, amazing. Okay, so I can actually get rid of this over here. Okay, so that's what this is doing. EU. Ew. Which means I'm probably going to have to do some gross kind of overflow hidden on this thing. Overflow X hidden. Gross! I mean, it works. It's just disgusting. Oh, that is terrible. That's terrible. It's not the worst it could be, okay? Look, I've seen worse situations here. I've seen worse situations. I just gotta figure out how to make the stretch to the full height of the page. So I can take this off now. And I also need to make these select links look slightly different. I've got to look. They're gonna blend in anyway. They are definitely gonna blend in anyway. But let me make them white for now. I mean, sorry, not blend in. I need to make them different UI to click on them. But for the moment, I just want to fix this ugly background problem that I'm having. Okay, so. Oof, that is some terrible stuff going on there. That is some terrible stuff. Okay. So now this has gone flex row, which is kind of weird. Flex. I don't need that on there. I need this on here. Flex col. Yeah, what? Oh, done yeah. And also take height full off. So where are these buttons? All these links? Cool. So where is that? Oh, I know why. I had this exact same problem over here. I need to do some Z indexes to get the that. Look, I don't know if this is going to survive forever because it is super gross. I don't know if it's going to survive forever, but for now, it's okay. So Z index 5, and then on here, Z index 10. What? Okay, I think the wizard also has, not the wizard, the wizard. Let's take this PX4 off as well, just until I've figured out the containing stuff that I need to do now. So padding left 4, width full, height full. These things are still hidden though. I don't know what to do about them. Is it? Oh, I think the Z index thing is also affected by the fact that this needs to be in a... Yeah, that was it. Okay, so just to explain, Z index actually applies differently to elements that are positioned, relative, absolute, fixed, static, and elements that aren't positioned. So like just normal inline stuff. So if I want these Z indexes to work at the same on the same sort of plane, then I need to position this relative, even if I'm not moving it around, just so that its Z index applies in the same way as this absolutely positioned thing does. Okay, I still have this margin issue, which I'm not really sure what to do about, and BG pink, which again, oh, now it's overlapping. What's going on? What is going on? This is super weird. Okay, but this relative thing is not working for me either. Like, why is that stuff over there? Is this a case of like what the console is doing? No, it doesn't seem like it. Put this at the bottom again. Width, height, absolute. It's not the padding left stuff, is it? See, here I've got width full, padding left 8. So that's not exactly working for me. So I shouldn't need that. Yeah. I shouldn't need that. So all of these things are relative, and this drop zone, this drop zone should still work here, which it does. But something funky is going on with these things. Like, what is kicking this off slightly to the side is weird. Also, that's a display block. Also, now there's like a massive scroll bar. Is that the scroll bar width that's doing that? Like, where's my scroll bar? Is that the scroll bar that's doing that? Pretty weird. Okay, look, I hate this solution. I absolutely hate this solution. I want to find something better. So I can take this off. I can take this off. There must be something better than this, right? There must be something better than what I was doing there. Let me make this text white. I'll leave the other padding stuff off for now anyway, so it should be right up against the side. I'll leave that off for now. It's not really important for me to get that resolved right now. I'd rather figure out this inside layout before I figure out this mess over here. But now I have this issue of making this stuff expand full width. And I don't know what to do. I mean, can I put this on here and get rid of these? I would have thought that would give me overflow issues. It doesn't entirely. Doesn't entirely. I mean, yeah, okay. Well, maybe it's border box by default. I have no idea. But that's cool though. I can put that padding left on here. Then I don't need to have this element inside here, so it's like less markup, I guess, which is cool. And I should do the stuff over here. So if you go add another option, go pro. Who gets what? Add stuff. Oh, fixed up for this plan. Great, great messaging. This debugging stuff is also kind of irritating me. Can I just make it fit in the one column? Because I feel like it's stretching out and it shouldn't be. It's kind of weird. Okay, so container that has all these elements in, and underneath it, it has the debugging info. The debugging info does width full. That's all within this MX Auto container. Okay. I think the problem is that this is now width full instead of width 1/2, and I've moved the container logic out from the wizard containing component itself to each individual step in the process. So now this should still be at half. Maybe I want to do it at less than half, right? Oh, not LR, MR. But will that make it weird? Yeah. Just don't want to, like, this is fine. This is fine. It's for emergency purposes and flushing. That's basically it. So, get subscribers. Yearly, monthly, add another option, which is the upsell stuff. I hate calling it the upsell stuff. That sounds so gross to me. But that's what it is. So... okay, so customize plans. I also need to get rid of this padding if it's in a single column, and then manage the padding elsewhere. There we go. So now, boom, this should be in the same sort of constraints as the others. But there we go. Now we have this padding over here. Do I have my padding right? So PR0MD, like that. Oh, but as we discovered, we don't have to do this on here anymore. We can do it on here, which saves us a level of indentation. Whee! So now this should also not, this should not have padding on the right when it's a single column, which is cool. I'll control that from outside this individual component. This is just really for how the content affects this middle line, or interacts with the middle line. So, what was on our list? I feel like I've deviated a little bit. Yes, this is done. Send current plan with repo selection, uploads, and setting changes. So, I've got the selected repos, upload files. I want to have the current plan. Is that what it's called in here? Yeah, current plan. Okay. So I want to send that over. This is nullable, but it's got to be part of the key. So now these things are getting long again. We saw yesterday when we started passing lots of parameters to here that this key got very long. Because look, we're trying to make it reactive, which means everything that could change the appearance of it needs to be part of the key. So I'll do this. I'll add current plan in here. And then I'll do the same formatting with the second component, which is for Bitbucket repositories. A little bit of manual formatting. Never killed anyone. Except probably people. Some people. Someone, somewhere. Okay. Current plan goes in here. It's nullable. I feel like that's actually the indentation level. Yes, that looks better. Which means we need to bring current plan into here. Nullable? I wish. I'm not really sure why I'm storing selected into the session anymore. I feel like maybe I should get rid of this selected and just store that as a public variable. Available still makes sense because this component can then remember what repos it got before. That still makes a lot of sense. But I think here I should just say this selected is selected. Copy that, do the same for current plan, get rid of this, make a new variable over here and call it selected. Similar setup for GitHub repositories. Boop. Which means I can get rid of this and this. Okay. Error, error. Undefined index. Select GitHub repositories. What just happened? What just happened? Ooh, pardon me. Current plan. Current plan. What are you all working on or doing at this hour? I need to have a sip of coffee and let my brain calm down. Select GitHub repositories. Here we go. Sometimes in dev, it just takes stepping away for a few minutes and having a sip of coffee. Connect with GitHub, does my OAuth. And this hasn't broken yet. What happens when I go sync? This sync button was broken, so I gotta kind of figure out what is happening with that as well. Let me add that to my list. Okay, so I think it's actually both that's doing that. That's doing this. Let me go network tab, refresh, sync. What does this come back with? There's nothing. There's nothing. So I think it is because this just writes to the session. It doesn't change any public variables. Which is kind of weird. I don't really want it to store this stuff in public variables though, because there could be a lot of info in there, and I do want it to remember in session. So what we should do maybe is have a changed at that is public, and here we say this changed at is now timestamp. So it is a JavaScript value. This is the Bitbucket repositories view, right? So I think it's the bottom one. That did not change a thing. Data inputs changed that. I mean, it didn't do anything though, right? Selected current plan, events, sync no repositories. That didn't do anything. So available. Oh, that makes sense. Cool. I'm going to just comment this out quickly because I want to see if it works without this, because if it does, then I want to remove it. Oh, this tab index. Error! Can't use standard class as... That's also a relic of my previous hybrid approach of objects and arrays. Right now, I'm just going to use it all as arrays. But it also means that I need to clear my session now because it's stored an array in there, which kind of sucks. Okay, get subscribers, connect with GitHub. Now, I've already connected with both, but what that connect does is if you're not logged in at all, it lets you connect with one. and the check says if you're auth and you have the elevator token. So I've actually separately connected with both of them, and I have elevator tokens for both of them, but in this case I wasn't auth, so it didn't know what account I had the tokens for. So now I should be able to go there, and I see the Bitbucket one there, and I see the GitHub one. Very cool. So this current plan, this selected repositories, I'm also going to change this to repositories, selected repositories, and I'm going to change this to available repositories, and then I'm going to make this change in the view as well. Okay, available. Selected. There we go. Okay, cool. And then current plan isn't reflected in this right now. It will be though. I'll stick it in here. When I'm done, when I'm good and done. Okay, let's make this change in Bitbucket as well, and then selected repositories, available repositories, and then I need to make this change in here as well. I want these things to be a lot more explicit. I did a very quick prototype initially with this version, but now I want it to be, even if it's more typing, I want it to be very clear what is what. Available repositories, like that. Like that. Okay, so these syncs should still, syncs should still work. I'm actually going to flush the session and make sure that they do. So I'll try the connection with Bitbucket first this time. It'll see I have elevator tokens for both, and so it won't make me weird. That was weird. User auth, Bitbucket elevator token, GitHub elevator token. So it shouldn't show this to me if I'm auth and I have these elevator tokens. Handle Bitbucket callback sets Bitbucket elevator tokens to the user account, and this sets GitHub elevated or restricted tokens to the user account. So why did it show me that connect button the second time round? Okay, look, I don't care. I'll figure it out if it's an issue, right? Bitbucket repositories. Here I need to pass the encode current plan. As the first parameter here, same with GitHub. And then in show wizard, when I select a repository, which is one of these here, the JSON here is repository instead, and this data is repository data. And this first thing is current plan. There we go. So let me just dd current plan data, repository data. And let me do the same over here and take these same things over here. Oh. And I just need to change this data here to repository data. Okay. So now when I check these things, oh, let me check if I've dropped frames. I've dropped like 2% of frames. That's weird. Maybe there's something up with my connection. Who knows? Okay, so when I check these things now, I should have the null for current plan. That's not good. Null for current plan. Did I do a boo-boo with that spelling there? Current plan data is decode current plan gets passed in. Current plan data, DD those things. On select Bitbucket repository. So it emits to that, and Wizard listens for on select Bitbucket repository, on select GitHub repository. These things should have that data there. Why don't they? Encode current plan. This is where I remember that. And then customize plans, the view is where I pass that in. Oh, because I don't have... Why is it showing me anything? Why is it showing me anything if I don't have a plan selected? Else if current plan, else. Boom. Flash, get subscribers next. Pick that thing, go back. Pick that, no plan. Okay, so I need to just do that for now. Pick a plan. Pick stuff for this plan. Maybe let's change from all these pick things to add stuff to this plan. GoPro. Okay, so get subscribers, pick a plan. There we go. Boop. Boop. Doing good, doing good, doing good. 9 minutes left. Now this should, when we've connected here and we sync, and we pick this, we have the plan that we want to edit. That's really good. That's good, hey? That is super good, because now we can assign the selected repositories to the current plan. So even though I checked this IDD before I persist those things, so it's not going to assign, or it's not going to save the selected repository to the list of selected repositories. I think I shouldn't be caching the selected repositories thing anymore. I think this repositories should be, it should actually be the plans repositories. So current plan data, so select type gets the plan from workflow plans, right? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? What I don't want to happen, hear me now, what I don't want to happen is that you go through one of these steps. What do I look like? Am I like slumping down like some kind of beast? I'm just a beast in the chair. What I don't want to happen is that you go through the process and you pick the wrong type up front. Say you go and you say, okay, get subscribers. I have this thing that I want to sell. I want to get subscribers. You go through and you think, you upload some stuff and you select some repos, and then you think, This doesn't really feel right. Let me see what other... Oh, seller theme is actually what I wanted. When you click this, it forgets the default plans that it already fetched for this type. You see, when you go now, it's not got a selected value. And when you go back to select subscribers, it's not got a selected value. What I don't want to happen is you go to all this effort of syncing and selecting repos and uploading files, and then you go back and you think, okay, well, like, let me try a different type. Oh no, I actually was on the right type. You go back to the first thing that you picked. Okay, let me explain this differently. You pick get subscribers, you upload some stuff, you think, oh, maybe this isn't right. You go back, you pick seller theme, you go through, oh no, seller theme is definitely not what I want. I do want get subscribers. Go back into get subscribers, now everything's gone. You have to upload again, you have to pick new plans, you have to change your settings again. I don't like that. What I want is a way to remember changes to plans, which is incidentally part of our list of things to get to. Save changes to default plans. What I want to do is I want to remember changes you've made to plans per type, separate from the plans that are shown when you change types. Like, I want to get the default plans, and then I want to go to this special object that I have and say, if you've made changes to a plan that is suggested by default for this type, apply those changes on top. Do a merge recursive. I don't know if merge recursive is the exact thing that I want, but this means that when I select a GitHub repository or a Bitbucket repository, I want to store these in a separate session thing that lists the type ID, the plan ID, and then an array of repos selected for GitHub, an array of repos selected for Bitbucket. So when that plan is suggested again, or when you refresh and that plan is loaded from default again, or from session again, it applies those selected repositories on top. It doesn't pass like this big old selected repositories array that's global like it's been doing. It kind of pastes like or patches the plan. And I don't know if I'm going to have a super amount of time to get to that, unfortunately, because we're kind of running up against the clock here. But maybe I can make a start on it. So let's get... Okay, we've got this data. Let's get patch data, or let's just call it patch. Oh, patches. Get show wizard patches, and it is an empty array. If not, is set patches patches. For this, we also need to get the current type, which will be this, and I need to prefix this in properly. For now, I'll just leave it like this. Get the current, get that. You've got the current plan data, and so if not is set, this will be for type. This will be for plan. So a type. Ooh, not on the outside there. Type ID. Current plan, JavaScript, man. JavaScript template strings are messing with me. Current plan ID. Then, that is a big old empty array. It's got GitHub plans. It's got Bitbucket plans. Bitbucket plans. I actually need to do this as like a get patch for current plan and save patch for current plan. So I'm going to do that. Private function get patch for current plan. Put patch for current plan. Okay, so this goes in here. So patches gets the stored patches, type gets the current session type, get this index, return like an empty array, patches like that. Oh, maybe just return this because it's initializing there, so return this. Maybe I want to build a key up separately, just because it makes it a little less confusing having that repetition there. So patches, key, key. Okay, so this defaults it. Oof, my email client is being gross. This defaults it, and then this can say something like put patch, current plan, patch. And so this will say get patches, get type, define key. Patches key is patch, and then session put this thing with patches. Okay, so now I should be able to say patch is this get a patch for selected GitHub repositories. Repository name is repository data, otherwise set this to null. And then this put patch for current plan patch. So I no longer have this. I don't really know what to do about this. That's kind of gross. That's kind of gross. I think for now I'll get rid of this. In debugging and here, I can get rid of this mess. I can comment this out. And let me collapse these because I don't need to see them unless there's a bug. Okay, let me copy this exact same thing to down here because it's going to be fairly similar logic, except that this changes to Bitbucket. Bitbucket. I need to get rid of has selected that, has selected that. Also doesn't really make a whole lot of sense there. Get rid of those. And maybe just pass patches down. Show wizard patches. Do we want to do a patch key as well? I think we do. I think we do want to do a patch key. For current plan. Now current plan is saved somewhere, right? Current plan. So I don't really have to pass this in here. I don't really have to pass this in here, but I mean, I think I'm doing a lot of unnecessary work here, to be honest. Really not sure what to do about that. Maybe just don't do the unnecessary work. It's an option. Maybe I'll get rid of, or stop passing that down the whole time, because current plan is currently the thing you're editing. It's fine for that to be global, I think. And just undo all my work, I guess. Okay, well, if this is here, then I don't need to retype in. I can just do it like that. I should also edit this. Oh, no, don't do that. Go away. How do I get rid of this thing now? Go away! Boop. Okay, but it does mean that I can call this patch key to get the patch key. don't need current plan to be passed in. I really don't need this. I'm wasting my time. Yeah, I'm really wasting my time here. Okay. I'm gonna call it there. To do. The very first thing that I want to do when I work on this again is I want to remove current plan prop drilling, because it's actually making more complication than it's worth. I want to send patch to show wizard and drill, so that when I render the plan, I can use that to determine what repos are selected, not pass the selected repos thing around, not prop drill selected repos. That's kind of what I want to do there, and then just continue with settings, right? Which is up here. So this kind of gets messed up. Fixing buttons done, but this kind of gets like invalidated really with the next thing that I do. So I'm gonna cancel that out. Yeah. So once I get rid of current plan prop drilling and just use what's in the session and pass that down, then I need to change selected repo logic to use patch, and that'll give me the same remembering what repos I've selected, which will survive page refreshes in future. Yeah, that's good. I also need to have a way to show file includes as a checkbox. So you upload, but then you get a checkbox to select whether it is part of this plan or not. But I think that's a later thing that I need to focus on. I'll add it into the list. Checkboxes for file uploads. There's a wider bit of context around there, but I'll talk about it when I get to it. Okay, that is that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have a look if anyone's streaming that I can raid. So get your raiding boots on, I guess. Oh, it was not muted. I should mute that next time. Where is this thing? Stream manager. There we go. By the way, the streamers whose name I couldn't remember yesterday is Corey Weathers. I couldn't remember the dude's name, but we hosted him anyway. Okay, I don't see any coders on here that I am currently following. So, cool. I'm going to not raid someone then, but if you've been here and spoken in chat, thank you very much. I hope it's been at least marginally helpful and somewhat entertaining. And I stream again on Tuesday. So I'm trying to do this thing, I'm going to try and do this thing where I stream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for an hour. From 7 o'clock GMT plus 2, standard European time, to 8 o'clock. So just for an hour, but on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. That's like the goal for now. So join me again on Tuesday, please, and it'll be fun. But that's it for now. Thanks for being here. I'm going to mute stuff and just let the stream peter out for a little bit to send whatever frames it still needs to send. So